It's a hot time in Florida. It's a real hot time in Florida, right? My hair's getting long. I can see myself in one of the monitors in the fancy Liberty Lounge studio. Hold on, I should have done this before the show. It's a switchblade. I make people think it's a switchblade. You never saw these before? Huh. I got all kinds of gadgets in the Liberty Lounge. Now we're talking. It's a hot time in Florida. Can we retake the whole first? Not in this studio. You're not going to believe what I'm going to tell you. Oh, man, there's some. All right, let me get to it, all right? Bernie, don't build it up. Somebody told me, just get to the video. Somebody posted, just get to the video. Shut up. No, they said, shut up and get to the video. Guess what I did? Banned them. I live for it. I got a itchy trigger finger for the ban button, especially if it's a sock puppet account or an anonymous account. Shut up and get to the video. Banned. Don't give me the gavel. Don't give me the gavel. You sit down. Next. I'll be worse than Mike Thomas. Do you know what's happening on October 9? What is that? Like 3 weeks from now in Bay County at the courthouse. Hey, you know how I go to Tallahassee and I sit down in the courtroom for the federal trials when Lynnhaven Mayor Margo Anderson and developer James Finch. Remember when they blew the whistle on the corruption in Lynnhaven and Sheriff Tommy Ford and the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office said, let's throw them under the bus, right? 64 charges, Margo Anderson, all that, dropped them all, got the RV back. But you know how I go down there and I go to the federal courthouse in Tallahassee for a week, sit in the courtroom where you got to be quiet and still. You can't make faces. You can't huff and puff. It is so, I feel like I'm in second grade again, getting in trouble. Anyway, so you can't videotape. You can't film. You guys can't even see what takes place in the federal courtroom. You have to rely on WMBB, which is why I go instead. So I can tell you what actually happens in the courtroom, along with the Beacon of Bay County. Right? They also do. Jody and Jerry do a great job. But you can go to the racial discrimination lawsuit, the trial against the city of Panama City Beach in Bay County on October 9, Monday, October 9. It starts. And this has been going on. It was originally filed, this racial discrimination lawsuit, in September of 2020 is when it was originally filed. And it has been, oh man, you talk about delay. It's almost 3 years before they get their day in court. The city of Panama City Beach, under the guidance of attorney Cole Son Davis and Mayor Mark Money Mover Sheldon, and the attorneys that they get through the Florida League of Cities, they're the worst. I know I have personal experience with them. They're terrible. They're dishonest as all get out. They're pretty competent, which is probably the reason they've been able to kick this racial discrimination lawsuit down the road so long. But right now, they got no more off-ramps. They've got no more fake mediations. They've got no more summary judgment attempts because that got shot down. I'm going to show it to you. And as you know, I should probably give the disclaimer that I am not an attorney. I'll be going over a legal document with you. It's a summary judgment that was denied. The city filed a motion for summary judgment saying, Your Honor, there's nothing for a jury to decide. Sure, there's 4 black guys who say that they were told, don't use the bathrooms in City Hall or at the shop at the at the Public Works building, the street department. you're not going to believe this story. And so they told the judge, there's nothing there. And the judge looked it all over and said, actually, there's plenty there for a jury to decide. Because remember, whether it's a civil case or a criminal case, the judge is the judge of the law, right? He decides whether the motion meets summary judgment and can get dismissed. That was the city's effort to say it was their last shot at dismissing the whole thing. But it was denied. And on October 9, on Monday in Bay County, there is going to be, you're going to feel like this is the 1940s, what's going on in Panama City Beach. And this all happened, right? Believe it or not, it was not under former Mayor Mike Pay-to-Play Thomas. It was pretty much ever since Mayor Mark Moneymover Sheldon got elected, along with Paul Casto. See, Paul Casto, before he got elected, he used to be the department head for the Public Works Department that oversaw the street department. You know those guys when you're driving down Back Beach Road, you see those guys in those like little four-wheeler ATV things, and they're picking up the trash or they're mowing the lawns and they got the vests on and that big hats. And it's like 100 degrees. They're sweating balls, trying to keep everything, clean, especially around City Hall. Well, it's awful hard work. And the street department for the city of Panama City Beach has historically been, the majority of the workers were black. I mean, the vast majority of the workers. You walk in the street department in 2019, you walk in there, you close the door and you go, I'm sorry, I thought it was in Panama City Beach. No. That's where if you got hired in Panama City Beach and you're black, first of all, you're an anomaly, right? It was very rare. And if you were hired, they had to get you out of City Hall. Can't have you in City Hall. They sent you over to the shop. That's where the street department is. It's over by Harley Davidson. It's in that area. They got an old building out there, and that's where they keep all the trucks and all the, what do they call them? Like little 4 ATV things. And that's where look, I'm gonna tell you something. If you're black and you want to get a job at Panama City Beach, the prospects aren't as good as they used to be. Because it used to be you could get a job there, but you had to go to the slave quarters. All right, pretty much. You say, Bernie, stop being so over the top. I'm going to read to you the summary judgment order by the judge. And if you think listen, clear your calendars. October 9, you can go in the courtroom, and it's not like a federal courtroom. In a state courtroom where this is being held in Bay County, you can actually, I don't know if everybody can, but the judge might have a rule about no cell phones, but the press can record. When I got sued in 2018 by Hector Che Solis, Panama City Beach councilman, for defamation, the first day that we had a hearing, WMBB's got their cameras up. I'm in a big giant courtroom, just me and Hector and his wife and Judge Fensom. I'm looking around going, damn, they got news cameras here. Well, that's how it's going to be October 9. And I make jokes about it because I'm pissed, because these are good people, the people in the street department. I really care about people who work their asses off, because most of us don't. A family that work their asses off. And anyway, these are good people. And it used to be a pretty decent place actually to work. The foreman, the bosses, even Paul Casto before he got elected, it was It wasn't, everybody did their job. They got it done. Nobody was trying to get over on each other. Like a little family. Got a good job. You go work hard. And then around 2020, the fit hit the shan. And I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you a little bit about it tonight. But I'm going to keep telling you about it until you're caught up. But the crazy thing is, the city of Panama City Beach, the officials, Mayor Mark Sheldon, Councilman Paul Casto, Vice Mayor, the mayor and the vice mayor, former department head Kelly Jenkins. She's all over this thing. The current boss, the current boss man over in the shop. If half of the things that are alleged about this guy are true, dude, you're a piece of work. How does one guy come into a place like that with, I don't know how many employees, 10? Good people, everybody gets along, mostly black. And a white guy gets hired in there, gets promoted above everybody else, and what thinks it's 1940? Look, I don't want you guys using the bathrooms. What? What are you talking about, man? I don't want you guys using the bathrooms, not in the new City Hall, for sure not in the brand new Taj Mahal. If you're riding around doing your work, you're all sweaty. Find yourself a convenience station, a Tom Thumb. I don't care if you go back in the woods behind the tree lines when you're out there cutting the grass. But do not be coming around all smelly, sweating after you drop off the trash at the shop. I do not want you coming in here or over there. And this goes for all of you, even you two white guys, but most of the black guys. Because, Mayor Sheldon's trying to clean things up. He just got elected. They're all wearing ties. The Taj Mahal looks really nice. We don't need you in the dirty boots that you got to wear when you wear them. All right, enough of that, huh? Let me get to it. It's going to take forever. What I'm going to show you now. Oh, Nikes. I got to tell you what just happened right 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. I haven't told you about this, and I'm not going to tell you everything, but I'm going to tell you what's public now because it just happened in a meeting. So you know how I've been telling you for 4 or 5 years that there's a lot of public corruption in Bay County, and about $300 or $400 million of FEMA money flowed through Bay County, and there were lots of hands in the cookie jar. You remember that whole story? And how the FBI and especially the sheriff's office, especially Tommy Ford and his public trust unit, because Sheriff Tommy Ford has more character than anybody, everybody combined. That's what I was told. And boy, he's going to go after public corruption, even if the FBI stops. Well, that was a load of garbage, as we know, because what I'm finding out is Bay County and Walton County have a lot of federal protection. But you know who doesn't? Washington County. Washington County is like virgin territory for the St. Joe Company and BlackRock that owns it. And so the FBI and the feds, they need a big victory because they've gotten a black eye. What? I didn't say black guy. I said black eye. Black guy. What do you work for, the city of Panama City Beach? Let's just say the feds have been, I'll use a different word. The feds have been embarrassed, is what I'm saying, because they arrested Margo Anderson, the mayor, the greatest mayor in Bay County, most popular, blew the whistle on public corruption. But you know what they do to broads around here, right? 64 counts. All of them dropped. All of them bogus. James Finch, 20-some charges? All of them dropped except for 2. His retrial, they try him more than once, is October 2nd, like in 2 weeks. And it was all BS. but they need a victim. Even Andrew Gillum. Hell, they couldn't even get Andrew Gillum. And you hear the feds have a 98% conviction rate. Not these guys. But they need to up their numbers. And Washington County, that's ripe for the taking. We can arrest some of these guys and for sure convict them. Even these guys, even these federal prosecutors can win convictions. That's how bad it is in Washington County. Well, there's a meeting taking place, probably just ended, but there was a meeting taking place about an hour ago. And the city attorney, from what I'm hearing, my field, sitting in here, working real hard before the show, and my feel the burn watchdog alerts just start going off. The place starts, bells are ringing, things are buzzing. The light goes up in the sky, and I go, what the hell's going on? My feel the burn watchdog alerts indicate that the city, or the county attorney in Washington County just announced that the FBI is investigating over there. Evidently, it's a big contractor, but the contractors don't get the big money without the votes. Oh, I've been hearing about this for years. And the feds need a win. And Washington County, I don't believe, has the protection. And keep your eye on Washington County, okay? There's a lot I'll tell you about that, but I got to tell you about this tonight. So I'm gonna show you the important parts, the allegations of the civil lawsuit, racial discrimination lawsuit against the city of Panama City Beach. Again, the trial is in Bay County. You can go to it. You can sit in there and watch this. What's going to happen is Mayor Mark Sheldon, I guess, I don't know if he's Vice Mayor Paul Casto, for sure he's going to be up on the stand. A former city engineer, Kelly Jenkins. All these people are going to be on the stand answering shocking allegations about racial discrimination. And from what I've seen, it's bad. And it's going to make us look bad. It's going to make the good people of Bay County look bad. Because the bad people of Bay County are in our governments. And they're robbing us blind. They're abusing people. And they're getting away with it. But accountability is coming. And it's coming hard, and it's coming fast. And I'm going to read you the summary judgment and the allegations, and I'll tell you more about it right after this.
When your life is on the line, hire the lawyer who lives in our community, works in our community, and worships in our community. I'm Al Saulene, your Panama City Beach lawyer. 850-215-0628.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
All right, let's see if I can get this up on the screen for you. I'll tell you what this is. All right, so you'll be able to read this. I've got to make the disclaimer. I am not an attorney. This is a legal document. I'm going to try to explain it to you. I'm not an attorney, but I do play one in real life when I get sued for defamation and win. So you're relying on Bernie, the attorney, right now. All right, here it is. So what you're looking at is in the local court here, the 14th Circuit. It's a civil lawsuit. 4 black employees of the city of Panama City Beach are suing over racial discrimination and retribution, retaliation. All right, and it's you can see it there. All right, I'm going to go over the background information. I might go into some of the legal details so you know how this works, and then the end is where the judge, where it actually talks about the allegations and the judge's decision that this actually needs to go to trial. because a jury of 6, and it's a jury of 6 in a civil case, needs to decide. And also, it's not beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not a criminal case. It's a preponderance of evidence. So if more likely than not it happened, the jury is supposed to return a verdict in favor of the plaintiffs. All right. So this was originally filed September 2020. Again, right about the transition time of Mike Pay-to-Play Thomas, where the bad stuff happened after him. It was under Mark Sheldon and Vice Mayor Paul Casto. All right. In the current lawsuit, I'm going to read this in a way that is easy to understand. All right. Filed August 3rd, 2022. There are 4 counts of race discrimination and 4 counts of retaliation, and there are also 4 black employees or former employees of the city of Panama City Beach. All right, and it's 28 pages. All right, so I'm going to try to go through this to where you get the gist of it and you don't have to stick around too long. All right. According to allegations, on or around April of 2019, so it was part of the time Mike Pay-to-Play Thomas was there, actually. So let me correct that record. It was like a year and a half or 2 years Mike Thomas was there. So, hell, I guess there's shared responsibility. The city is the defendant, so I'm going to say city. The city announced new supervisory positions for team leaders. This is for the street department. For team leaders, but failed to give one of the black employees the opportunity to apply because the jobs were never advertised. Subsequently, the city appointed Jeremiah Jagers to the position, a white male, as the team leader, the supervisor of one of the crews. And so they created 2 crews. One crew, you got the white guy, Jeremiah Jagers, and the other crew was the supervisory position was given to Irvin Green, a black male, also one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit. So the city created 2 different crews. It used to be just one crew. They created 2 crews. And they said, okay, white employee Jeremiah Jagers, you're the boss of one crew. Irvin Green, you're the boss of the other crew. The city, according to the plaintiffs, began its disparate treatment and retaliation against the African-American employees in the street department. Some of the alleged facts in support of the amended complaint are that after the new appointments, I'm just going to say one of the workers, so I don't have to keep saying names and we get confused. One of the workers and other African-American employees were no longer allowed to come back to the public work department shop during the day. So you go, everybody meets in the morning, you go out, you take your ATV thing, you go out there, you start getting in the 100-degree sun and picking up the trash, filling up the trash. And it used to be for the 10 or 11 years that these employees worked there before things changed. You fill it up with trash, you bring it back to the shop, you drop off the trash, and maybe you hit the restroom. Maybe you just get 5 minutes of air conditioning and hit the restroom. In the shop, not even in City Hall, in the building that's dedicated to the street department over there by Harley Davidson. All right? But you're not allowed to use the restrooms anymore. All right? All of a sudden, you're not allowed to, when you come back dropping off the trash, you don't be coming in here and using the restroom. Remember, it's vast majority at the time, black workers. While the white employees could continue to go to the shop. But you get there, you start off your day, you get out there and work. Black guys don't come back until the street lights are on. And whatever you do, don't use the restrooms. Not here, not in City Hall. Find yourself a convenience store or somewhere. But the white employees, according to the lawsuit, were working under the supervision of the new white supervisor. Black employees were subjected to unwarranted and continuous surveillance, harassment, and abuse. Remember, these are allegations. A jury will decide. For instance, one of the employees says that the new white boss did not allow black workers to get breakfast between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., like they've been doing for years, while the white employees could continue. He also claimed that the uniform requirements, remember, these are the guys out in those little things on the side of the road. They got the big heavy boots on and they got the vests and the big hats. That the uniform requirements for white employees were not as strict as the ones imposed on the African-American employees, and that the African-American employees were expected to continue with their assigned tasks during lunchtime. All right. You got to be doing it even during lunch. In contrast, white employees were allowed to have breaks. According to one of the employees, he and the other black employees were also discouraged from congregating. You guys don't, during work hours, we don't need you guys. We know what happens when you guys get together. Okay. No more of that. You guys stay away from each other and out of the bathrooms. They were frequently separated during work, even though that often resulted in extended periods to complete the assigned work. He also complained that they were often subjected to condescending, intimidating, and disparaging remarks from their supervisor, and were expected to work during unsafe weather conditions, such as lightning storms, while the white employees were treated preferentially. He also raised an issue that the overall workload given to the black workers was impossible to complete, while the white employees were favored by their supervisors and were given more leniency. Remember, all of a sudden in 2019, the street department gets broken up into two teams. And so you have most of the employees at the time, most of the guys were black. It was the one place in Panama City Beach government where you might find black employees. They were all street workers and a couple of white guys. Well, since 2019, it's no longer majority black. Let's put it that way. According to this lawsuit, the new boss didn't like that too much. Not real comfortable around them, especially when they're all together. You know how quick a gang can form? You know? So one of the employees asserted that the city retaliated against him after he reported the disparate treatment and filed several EEOC charges. So one of the employees wasn't having it, filed EEOC charges. And this, according to the lawsuit, the city retaliated against him. And he claimed that he was unlawfully suspended from work and subsequently terminated December 2021. The lawsuit says, after falsely being accused of intentional destruction of property and illegal recording in the workplace. You know, I can't wait for the trial here on October 9th that we can all go to and watch. The city says that this employee, this black employee for the street department, he was just unhappy. And he intentionally destroyed property. Boy, I can't wait till they get this guy on the witness stand and they ask him, what did you intentionally destroy? How bad was it destroyed? And why'd you do it? I can't wait to see the answer. The city says it was intentional. He destroyed property. Plaintiff Shane Smith, also an African-American male, began employment with the city as a street maintenance worker in 2008. And like his brother, also one of the plaintiffs, claims he was subjected to disparate treatment, different terms and conditions of employment, and held to a different standard because of his race. He also alleges that the mistreatment came mainly from the new white supervisor. The defendant's public work director, Kelly Jenkins, who retired early, surprisingly, in January, and was the city's main engineer. She's also the one who it was the destruction of the Gulf of Mexico by discharging stormwater under gigantic tunnels at the end of Pier Park. That's all her idea. And human resources employee Lori Pilfoot. So according to the lawsuit, these are the villains. According to the city, these are the heroes that were just trying to keep the black guys who were destroying property in line and using the bathrooms. All right. So the lawsuit says supervisor, the new white guy, Jeremiah Jagers, public works director Kelly Jenkins, and human resources employee Lori Philpott, they're the bad guys. But they're going to get a chance too. They're going to get to go up there on the witness stand and explain why they took the actions they did, why they were necessary to keep the city looking good and to keep the employees in their place. I can't wait to hear it. Because Attorney Cole's son Davis and the other attorneys, they insist that that's what happened, that they tried their hardest to keep everything in line and looking good. The amended complaint, one of the employees details instances when the city allegedly yelled, intimidated, harassed, and treated him differently than the white employees. He further claimed that after he reported the alleged discriminatory actions to Human Resources and filed the underlying lawsuit, that the city's discriminatory practices escalated. Oh, so you're going to file a complaint against the city. All right, pal, see what happens now. See the workload you get now. That's what the lawsuit says. The plaintiffs were the workers were intentionally targeted by their supervisor, who created false allegations of dress code violations against them. Dress code violations in a racial discrimination lawsuit. I mean, aren't these the guys, the street cleaners they all dress the same? I mean, who knows? Maybe they're out there with pants sagging down and around their knees, you know. Maybe they were just way out of line, like maybe the new white supervisor saw some of the stuff going on, I don't know, in Atlanta. Or maybe he watches a lot of TV and says, look, you got to follow the dress code. I can't wait to hear what the dress code violations were. These guys must have been just dressed crazy. Right. So after that, he got, after he complained about the treatment, the written warnings, bad evaluations, no pay raises, and increased the workload of the black employees. Remember, these are black employees that had been there since 2007 and 2008, 10 years, 11 years, had stellar records. Stellar records. It was the one of the best departments in the whole city until 2019, and the new white supervisor comes along who had friends in high places in the city. After that, it was miserable. And after that, the black guys couldn't do anything right. All of a sudden, just like that. See, that to me is a clue that if it had been going good for so long and everybody was happy with it for so long, and one guy comes in and turns it upside down with the help of his friends in higher places, I bet I know which direction this is going, is what I'm trying to say. All right. The black employees were specifically targeted and accused of not doing their jobs. There's another, this is the third employee here. Let's see what he was up to. He was promoted as one of the two crew leaders. All right, so the city promoted one white guy and one black guy. That sounds fair, actually. I may be jumping the gun here. The other crew leader, well, I did highlight it, so I know what's coming. The other crew leader, the white guy, was initially in charge of the remaining 3 black workers in the lawsuit. Some of the specific allegations in the amended complaint related to the third employee here. Although, what? He had 2 bachelor's degrees in accounting and business administration and was qualified for higher positions. So one of the black employees, Irvin Green, he's got a couple of bachelors. He's probably more educated than anybody else in the department. Than probably everybody on the council. And certainly was, I'll be honest with you, I heard about this. There are people inside all the city halls that talk to me. And I had heard that there was a highly educated black employee in the street department where he belongs, who had a degree in accounting and business administration. And an accounting position came open. In other words, white collar positions came open inside City Hall. And I had people telling me, people in high positions in City Hall, that they knew this really great guy with a great education, working in the street department, hoping to move on up. And he was told, know your place. This is not a job. These are not jobs for you. Go back to the street department and work real hard over there. I heard about this 4 years ago. And now here it is, getting ready to go to trial. And it says the lawsuit claims that he was not given an opportunity to compete for those white-collar jobs because of discriminatory reasons. He alleged that in 2016, he applied for a payroll clerk position and subsequently an accounting job. God, it's been that long ago. I was told about this back then. Instead, the city hired 2 white ladies. And let me tell you something. I want to make it very clear. I have nothing against white ladies. I love them. All right. So this is nothing against the white ladies. I'm all about the white ladies. Right? But what I'm saying is the city chose them. That's all I'm saying. And it says here that who allegedly had no college degrees or any relevant experience. Now, I do have a problem with that. Goodness. The plaintiff also claimed that because of his race, he was demoted from that supervisor position he was given in the street department. And on several occasions, he was denied a pay increase despite his stellar work. When the plaintiff, this guy here, was finally promoted to the position of team leader in 2019, he asserted that he was, so when he was given, remember there's 2 guys, they had 2 crews, they broke it at the street department, they broke it up into 2 crews. The white supervisor, that's the villain according to the lawsuit, all right? It may turn out under testimony and evidence and the trial that he's the hero here, but according to the lawsuit, he got one of the crew leader jobs, and this black employee got the other one. But this black employee got an 83 cents an hour raise, while the white team leader got a $4.25 an hour raise. Huh. All right, he also took issue that the white supervisor was allegedly given more staff for his street team and a less heavy workload. Oh, okay. So they broke it up into 2 teams in the street department, 2019. White guy, black guy, they're the crew leaders. According to the lawsuit, the white guy he has less of an area to clean out there on the streets and more workers. And the black team leader gets fewer workers and more of an area to clean. And an 83 cent an hour raise, while the other gets a $4.25 an hour raise. I'm starting to see why they filed the lawsuit. All right. And then claims they retaliated against him in the form of excessive workload, continuing surveillance, humiliation, and intimidation. Wow. Sorry. Boy. Thank you for texting me. What I was saying is that what if I'm not the only one who reports this? What if the story about black employees being discouraged or prevented from, told not to use the restrooms at the shop or City Hall, especially not City Hall? What if big news outlets get a hold of this? Imagine how bad it's going to make Panama City Beach look. And the good people of Panama City Beach. But the bad people are the ones running our governments. And so if this is all true and this becomes a big story, the whole town looks bad because of a few assholes who hold these positions and raise your sewer and raise your water. And not only do they raise your sewer and raise your water, and if you're a condo owner, tell you that you can't, that you got to have fewer people occupancy for renters, while they don't do the same for hotels. And that's probably the thing that drives me on all of these stories that I tell you about. It's the disparate treatment. It's the unequal application. It's the way that they treat, that they use the power of law or government or being a boss, and they treat some people like garbage, and they treat other people, their friends, they just continue to benefit themselves and their friends or their supporters. That's the thing that just gets me the most. All right, so the fourth guy here has filed several charges of discrimination with the EEOC. So these guys, these black employees that say they were discriminated against by the city of Panama City Beach, it's not like they just launched a lawsuit. They had been filing EEOC charges. Looks like they've gone through the whole process. And then after they did that, they say that the city retaliated against them, which is illegal, is what it is. And created a negative file against them. All right, so now let's see what the city says. All right, I've only been telling you now because that's the way these things are written. This is the motion for summary. This is the order. This is the judge's order denying the motion for summary judgment, which was the city of Panama City Beach's last chance, their Hail Mary, to tell the judge, there's nothing here, Judge. And this explains everything. And the judge says, looks like there is at least the judge says, enough that a jury could reasonably find in favor of the city or the employees. So this has to go in front of 6 judges of the facts. See, the judge is the judge of the law. The jurors are the judge of the facts. So the judge says, no, city, Cole Davis and all the rest of you, this actually, there's enough here. It's going to have to go to trial on October 9th right here. All right, so the city says, look, they might have just been unhappy with their jobs. Look, you can see this. They didn't suffer any adverse employment action or retaliation. And the plaintiffs did not report or oppose any unlawful conduct under Chapter 760. Chapter 760 is the Florida statute for discrimination. And moreover, these 4 guys, they can't show that they suffered any retaliatory actions. Even if they could, the city had lawful reasons to do what it did. That's what the city's argument is. All right, so it goes on, it says the city learned that the plaintiffs recorded their co-workers without their knowledge. So the city is saying, look, not only did nothing bad happen to these guys, they were just unhappy campers, troublemakers, really, not dressing right, all that stuff, but trying to use the restroom with the rest of us. I mean, come on. The city says that they recorded their coworkers without their knowledge. So I guess like phone record. And city manager Drew Whitman decided to suspend a couple of them and terminate one of them because they're recording on their phone conversations going on. And in Florida, by the way, it's a 2-consent party state. All right. If you audio record or video record somebody without their knowledge and use it, that's illegal in Florida unless, right, there's always an unless there's no reasonable expectation of privacy, right? Unless you're outside, in public, in a restaurant where there's already cameras rolling. If you're in a car or something, there's a reasonable expectation of privacy. Nobody thinks there's cameras rolling. If I get in your passenger seat and you and I go for a drive and I'm secretly recording you, that's illegal. But if we're in a place where there's already cameras rolling and already audio being recorded, that's a different story. So anyway, we'll find out what they say in the trial. So the city says, look, what we did was it had nothing to do with discrimination. Okay. And the city says, the judge said, okay, wow. So late in this lawsuit, remember this has been going on for 3 years, late in the lawsuit, the workers, the plaintiffs, they provided 13 sworn statements of various witnesses who allegedly corroborated their allegations, disparate treatment based on race. So late in the lawsuit, the plaintiffs, and this is Attorney Marie Maddox again, and she's had all these sworn statements saying, yeah, this stuff happened. Well, the city said, wait a minute. We didn't know about these sworn statements in time. So I'm going to skip forward a little bit. So you've got to judge. The rules are rules. We didn't know about them in time. So throw out the 13 recorded statements that say we did that stuff. And I guess the judge says, all right, well, I'm going to allow 4 depositions, though. So we'll you can depose people and see what they say. So the plaintiffs deposed 4 people that corroborated their story. And the city said, no, we don't want to do any depositions. So right now, this is page 9 of 28. This is all in this document. These are the rules that the judge has to use to decide whether or not to throw the case out in summary judgment. These are the rules. And basically the rules are, as long as both sides have no disagreement in the statement of facts, then the court, and if there's nothing for a jury to say, wow, there might be something there, then the court has to throw it out. And there's been some fine tweaking of summary judgment rules since 2021, where states have now, Florida has now adopted the federal rules, which are similar but a little different. I think it basically gave the city a better chance to get this thrown out in summary judgment, but still they didn't. So they are going to trial. And this part of the document talks about racial discrimination laws and what has to happen in order for you to have standing to actually go to trial. All right, that's what this stuff here is. And it goes on. The city says, look, they didn't reach, the standard. They don't have the evidence. They didn't even complain to us that they were being mistreated based on race in their letters to their bosses. It goes on and on. The city says what we did was lawful and good for business. And these guys are really just unhappy. They don't like the white supervisor's style, but he didn't do anything based on race. As a matter of fact, he treated the white guys the same. All right, that's what this is all saying. There's no proof that the white supervisor was even aware that they thought there was racial discrimination. Up here it says, look, they just generally didn't like his supervisory style. This is the city's arguments. But again, the workers are saying, look, a lot of these supervisor jobs and accounting jobs and things that they didn't get a chance to compete for, they were not advertised. And the lawsuit talks about how cities are required to follow their policies, right? And that's part of the standing, right? It's part of the strength of the lawsuit. If a city doesn't follow its policies and the law, well, then you're probably going to go to trial. And that's exactly what's happening. Here's where the city says, look, the letters they wrote to the supervisors, goodness gracious, they didn't even specify race or retaliation. And this was in February of 2020. But remember, like a year and a half, almost 2 years went by after those letters. Was there any racial discrimination after that? So this goes on and on. And at the very end, let me just show you the very end because it's gone on longer than I thought it would. Therefore, says the judge, under the facts discussed above, a reasonable jury might take the view that the events at issue here did not paint a picture of disparate treatment. It says of a desperate treatment, but I'm sure that when you write 28 pages, even a judge can make a mistake. Sir, I do it in 1 page. So, Judge, if you're watching, understandable, sir, Your Honor. But it says that a reasonable jury might take a picture of a disparate treatment, different treatment, and racially hostile work environment, and that neither of the plaintiffs experienced discrimination. So, in other words, the judge says, look, based on all of the evidence here, a jury might say that the city didn't do anything illegal. But the jury could also, look at that, the jury could also determine that the plaintiffs were not treated differently than other employees. In other words, the jury could say the city's not guilty. Nevertheless, a reasonable juror can also take a contradictory view and conclude that the alleged behavior of the city actually did reach the level of discrimination or retaliation and was motivated by the plaintiff's race. In other words, in this summary judgment, the job of the judge is to follow the rules in the case law and determine if there are any differences between the two sides in material fact, and if there is anything there that a jury could disagree on. And then they'll decide. And in this case, it reached, based on the totality of the foregoing circumstances, the judge finds that the plaintiffs presented sufficient evidence in the record to withstand the city's motions for summary judgment. In other words, we're going to trial. And we all get to watch these people go up on the witness stand under oath and answer some pretty tough questions. Right? You're not the boss in the courtroom, the judge is. And you're under oath. And that is going to be super interesting. That all takes place October 9th on Monday, in like 3 weeks. Wow. All right. I'm going to bring you more about this. I'm going to give you the document. I'm going to try to explain the best I can what it all means as it approaches. But I just wanted you to know that this is really happening finally. It's been going on for 3 years. Kicking the can down the road for 3 years. But now the 4 employees have the city lassoed and saying, get your ass over here. Get no more kicking it down the road. The next stop is trial. Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage.
call 769-3777.
It's a hot time in Florida, and my friend Ryan could make sure your air conditioning is running at peak efficiency. He could even install a new one, built to a higher standard, American standard. Find out more at pcairrepair.com. All right, I also want to thank the Unknown Patriot for your support. As always, thank you so much for your support, and all of you who are patrons, thank you for your support. I don't say it often enough, but this is also live on YouTube, and I don't have nearly as many subscribers on YouTube as I have you on Facebook. But if you want to make an old man happy, that's one way you could do it. Subscribe and follow the Bernie Thompson Show on Facebook. The picture's better or something, but the comments, there's more comments here. All right, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. A lot more. This is a big news week. I told you that in the county commission meeting earlier tonight in Washington County, my Feel the Burn watchdog alerts have indicated to me tonight that the county attorney announced that the FBI is investigating Washington County for public corruption, evidently one of the big contractors who's been getting all the votes. That just happened. And I've known about that for a long time, and wouldn't that be nice if there's finally some traction? All right, I'll see you soon.